Dang, everything's been having so many problems this morning. Hi, I'm just hanging out, getting ready for radio, and all that good jazz. You know, we're live at 12 p.m. Central, and if it's not yet in your neck of the woods, you can always live stream it at danaradio.com. So a couple of things, because I'll probably be talking about this on Fox tonight, and I'll have Fox and Friends tomorrow morning, but just a couple of things. This whole thing with Elizabeth Warren this is a hot button issue for me, and I find it absolutely repulsive that DC media is more aghast at someone mocking a white progressive senator from Massachusetts, mocking her for her racist ethnic appropriation, more so than they're offended at a white progressive senator in Massachusetts, her racistly, which I just created an adverb, appropriating an ethnicity. It's insane, the way that I've seen the reaction to this, and I'm going to talk about this on radio today, but let's get one thing straight, and I said this on Twitter last night, this is a super important distinction. Elizabeth Warren didn't say that she had Cherokee ancestry. There are a lot of people in the United States that have Indigenous American ancestry. My family has Indigenous American ancestry. Elizabeth Warren didn't say that she has Indigenous American ancestry. She said she was Cherokee. The woman listed herself as a minority on numerous official forums. She paraded herself and promoted herself at Harvard as the first woman of color at Harvard Law. And that's how she was listed in the Fordham Review. She made all these insane claims, made up stories about her grandfather, her aunt. She talked about how her big old Cherokee family would exchange recipes. She plagiarized recipes for this book called Powwow Chow. I mean, she really, was making bank on all of these false claims. And for so long, no one questioned her. And so for years, she was allowed to do this. She listed herself, she finally admitted it. She listed herself as a minority, not ancestry. She listed herself as a minority. So that's a huge important distinction here. Secondly, when actual Cherokee activists tried to meet with her upon hearing that this woman, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman was masquerading as a member of Cherokee Nation, Cherokee activists tried to meet with her, and she outright refused them. Every single time they tried to meet with her, Warren refused them. In fact, it then provoked one Cherokee activist in saying, quote, "It's like we didn't exist." And there was another group of Indigenous American activists that began making videos calling her out and really questioning why she was lying about her ethnicity. Local media in Massachusetts did actually a very good job in trying to call her on the carpet for this, but she never answered any questions. And to this date, she's never explained if she still identifies as Cherokee or if she quit, identified, and if so, why. And this came up in her Senate race when she went head-to-head with Scott Brown several years ago. But Elizabeth Warren was able to skate past, and she also, there's also controversies around her law license. There's controversy. She claimed one time that she was the first nursing mother to take the New Jersey bar exam, and actual, colleagues and other people associated with New Jersey bar rolled their eyes and even said to local media, "This is insane. Why is she? Why would you make she's a pathological liar? Is why. That's why she makes such bizarre statements and tries to claim minority status and absolutely everything." But I'm going to tell you what, Trump yesterday, when he was honoring Navajo code talkers, and you can have a discussion all day as to whether or not that was the appropriate place to do it. I will say that I did enjoy that Navajo code talkers were honored beneath a portrait of Andrew Jackson, who I think is just an unmitigated racist. And Andrew Jackson's the founder of the modern day Democrat Party, who would have sent Navajo code talkers, Indigenous Americans like those Navajo code talker heroes that were being honored in the Oval Office. He would have sent them to their death on the Trail of Genocide. Trail of Tears, sure. Trail of Genocide is what it actually was. And so I love the fact that his legacy had to have his face rubbed in the acknowledgement of those amazing gentlemen's heroism. And I love the story. My grandfather was in World War II. He was in the Pacific Theater. I love the story of the Navajo code talkers. By the way, that movie, everyone needs to go and see the movie that they made about it several years ago. It's absolutely fantastic what these men did for our country, and that they were being honored and acknowledged in front of Andrew Jackson's painting. I thought it was a snub, and it was a one finger salute to Andrew Jackson. And as far as Trump calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, my only beef is that he said Pocahontas and not Pocahontas. Pocahontas isn't a slur. For everyone in the DC Beltway who's trying to make this an issue, Pocahontas is not a slur. It is the name of an esteemed Indigenous American woman, and I would thank you all for trying to stop trying to put it down and list her name as a slur. Elizabeth Warren, it's a slur for her to call herself an Indigenous American. It's not a slur to mock her for calling herself an Indigenous American. And it would be great if all of these people who are suddenly so concerned with the plight of Indigenous Americans in the United States, it would be so great if maybe they paid attention to the groups who were viciously attacked upon calling Elizabeth Warren out for her ethnic appropriation. It would be great, by the way, if these same people would call out Bill Clinton and Al Gore for fleecing a number of Indian nations out west during the late 90 elections by saying that they were going to help them if only they gave them six figures. Chris Hitchens had a great chapter about that in his phenomenal book, No One Left to Lie To. So I would highly encourage people to go and check that out, because to my knowledge, none of that money has ever been repaid to those Indigenous American nations. And there were quite a few of them who were fleeced by the Clinton-Gore campaign. So, and to say nothing of the EPA dumping pollution in the Animas River, by which many Indigenous American nations live by and depend upon as a source of water, not just for their crops, but for their livestock as well. So we can have conversations about this all day long. But the point being is that this comment would have never been able to be made if Elizabeth Warren had not in a racist fashion appropriated an ethnicity that wasn't hers. And as famed Cherokee genealogist Twyla Barnes, with whom you do not mess, discovered in her exhaustive analysis of Elizabeth Warren's heritage, the closest that Elizabeth Warren came to Indigenous American blood was the blood of the Indigenous Americans that her ancestors rounded up with Jackson's forces before the Trail of Genocide. So Warren owes a lot of people an apology, and she needs to stop her pathological lying. And Trump, I don't think, needs to apologize for anything. And if only the media were as aghast at Elizabeth Warren disenfranchising minorities for her own professional advancement as they are for the president mocking her for doing it. So we're going to talk about that on air today. I'm telling you what, this is a hot button issue with me. And feel free, by the way. I mean, I don't do identity politics, and I don't play into all of that. I absolutely loathe it with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. But I'm going to tell you, if you're defending this crap from Elizabeth Warren, you're a racist. Knock it off. There's zero reason to defend this crap. Anyway, I hope that, and if you want links and actual video of her doing all of this and, evidence like what, people like she wouldn't provide, I have it. It's posted on my Twitter timeline at Loesch. I turned it into a Twitter moment, and it's the pinned post. In fact, it's on this very Facebook page just right below. So make sure you can send that far and wide to anyone who sits here and tries to excuse the fact that a white progressive senator from Massachusetts disenfranchised minorities for her own professional advancement at Harvard. What Indigenous Americans' position did she take by listing herself as a woman of color? White is a color, I guess. All right, so we'll be live at 12 p.m. Central, and if we're not yet in your neck of the woods, you can always stream me at danaradio.com. God bless. Bye.